grew up rough on the left side of the marathon in Crystal Lake.
Ooh.
I know. It's like shut up.
Yeah.
Fucking
Beast
dumb.
shapes.
It's like
Yes.
what?
Beast Shapes by Dre.
Dude,
It's not by
it's also
Dre.
funny.
It's
It's
by
Scott's,
Druids.
Sister's boyfriend.
We have
Like-
we got shit about. Wait, you tell me.
This is like Al's story.
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
much,
I've
but
heard this.
Oh yeah, fucking.
They
we're
like
not the
pulled
same.
the same shit. They're like the streets in the place that like doesn't have streets. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my god.
He was like. He was the type of dude that would like have all of his his button was buttoned up to his neck.
Yeah, I know, right? Imagine he says that to someone who like grew up in like Inglewood, Chicago. It's
Who
like
just-
streets of Aurora or Carpentersville.
That dude just come. That was such a laugh.
Who was that? Like, where did you find these people?
That's a good question.
Like, that's what I always
You
wonder.
know how like on like Facebook you're like only like 7 connections away from someone at most.
Yeah.
It's like that 7's connection. Like I know blah 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 and blah blah blah, and it's like me or blah 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 is friends with like cheese, and it's like oh okay.
It's
So in shorter words, it's like someone who knows one of the like the fucking locals.
Someone in the house's friend
Friend.
has their friend, and it's like
It's like 3 connections.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's the whole idea of like, I think what with like those pyramid schemes, the farther you get down in the base of it, like the more people actually get up. Where it's like once you're 9 layers down, all of humans, like everyone who's fucking currently alive, would be like a customer of the pyramid scheme. It's like with that, with these attachments,
Yeah.
like you just need 2 people, and they fucking bring like 30 attachments.
Why isn't there
It's
someone
like
at
a
the
tree.
door that is like? Because once it like, I feel like once like 1 a.m. hits, people are like, "Who are these people? What the fuck is this?" Is there any like
How do you even end the night?
security? Yeah, also that. But first mine.
We end the night, but well, usually most people will filter out, except like the people that we like know the most, or like whatever. It's like usually the crowd we know stays, but like sometimes there'll be people we don't know that still stay. And eventually, we're like, all right, party's over. Like, get out. Like, you're weird. Like, stop doing drugs on my coffee table.
Oh
That's
my
so
God.
weird. I could never.
It's like
Oh
it's
my
just like
God.
it's like 5 a.m. Like you don't have to go home, but like don't stay here.
It's 5 a.m. Jesus.
When do you go to bed usually?
6.
Like right after, or like you game an hour? Like what's it like for you after that? Because I mean, if you're up seeing them out at 5 a.m., I'm kind of.
You're usually in no state to game.
It's probably sometimes I'll go to bed right after. Sometimes I'll stay up till like 9 or 10, and then sometimes I just won't sleep till the next night.
That's disgusting.
That's what I'll.
That's like a
Oh,
stressed out way of
depends.
living. Like my sleep schedule is still so wonk that I'll like wake up at 1:30.
Yeah, it's like. Do you have like much of a choice though? Like, are you gonna go to bed when there's like already stuff going on, and people like store their goods in your bedroom because they're like, I don't want someone to take my goods.
No, that's fine. I just don't understand though. Like even after the 5 a.m. hits, like
Because at that point it's like it's already fucking daylight. Like, and am I gonna like fucking sleep and miss half of the next day? Am I gonna like drink some water, sober up, watch some TV? Or like video games or like whatever the fuck.
damn. In pain.
I'd say more often than not though. Like I'll go to bed like in like 3 hours. Shit ending.
See, I mean, that's why like, I don't know. At least for
This
me,
podcast should be on.
what?
This podcast should be on. This is content.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on right now. I just didn't tell you guys.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I was gonna have an official start and then just cut wherever.
Oh.
But yeah, no,
Okay.
I've had it on for a
Nice.
while now. Yeah, I just didn't want to tell you guys.
God, that's disgusting, huh? That's your sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yesterday I fell asleep before midnight.
Well, that's because you slammed like 9 Trulies before.
9
midnight.
Trulies and 2 like grilled cheese and half a quesadilla. I was out. I was like out.
Dude, You
I
were
woke up with
fucking
the
out.
worst heartburn of my life. It was disgusting. I ran downstairs, got like 4 cups of water, just drank it all, and I was still dying. I was
Good
like,
thing you
Mom,
didn't get
quesadillas,
KFC, dude.
I'm glad you liked it.
I had one today for breakfast. Tea.
Nice.
What a breakfast.
Good start to
Some
the day.
man's breakfast.
Hell yeah, dude. Good amount of rice in it too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Hooks
You
you
got your
up.
cheese, you got your hot sauce ready in it.
Dude, that's like that's what you used to get at the fucking dining center too.
That's what I was trying to
I know.
replicate. I was like, I want something that like reminds him of that.
And they don't have it this year. The Mexican food section is just closed.
Really?
So it's like, yeah, if I go there, what am I gonna enjoy? It's not like their pasta's that good.
What the fuck?
Like their home
Yeah.
style usually has some weird shit.
Yeah, it's usually whack. It's never good.
I mean, it can be all right though.
To be alright.
The
That's when like the
walk
line's
is, like-
long as hell, and you're like,
Dude,
no, but the crab ragoons at the walk. Oh my god.
Dude, I just love their bowls, their soup bowls that they do when they have those. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, where you can get like it's like a broth bowl and you get a protein in there and you get all these vegetables that you can throw
Oh
in
my
hot
God.
sauce and
What?
shit.
Are we talking about Try?
No, this was
No
at
way.
Wadi. at the
Oh
walk at
yeah, I
Wadi.
know what you're
They
talking
only
about.
do it sometimes.
Yeah, it was only every once in a while, but dude, that day I'd get like 2 or 3 bowls. I remember I'd always text you because the first time that Tyler got one as well. I just ran into you guys and we were just talking about the bowls the whole time.
Dude, and the limes. You put the limes in.
Yeah.
good.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Oh fuck. Okay.
Try food had better though.
Well, I know you got a schedule, dude. So let me pull it into what this podcast is mainly going to be about today. First of all, thank you everyone for coming. Seriously,
You have
I
a
always
special
appreciate
guest.
it. We do have a special guest.
Address
We have
yourself.
was it Slob?
Yeah,
Slob.
Slob is good.
CD slob.
CD Slob, sure, whatever.
So let me speak and share slop stories.
But let me.
I'm
Oh wait.
well, last week I was vivo abajo de sombra, which in Spanish translates to I live under the shadow. But you can call me
Thank you.
just call me Chief for this podcast if you want.
Whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want. I don't judge. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Seriously, taking time out of your day. I do appreciate that.
Busy schedule.
But we'll
Joe usually naps around now.
that is true. That is
Dangerous
true.
times, 7:28.
Oh shit, give me 1 second. Now I'm lost. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to an organization that was rather loose.
I know.
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's good.
no,
I
no,
just-
I
Well,
was
no,
just
what are you
not-
looking
I was
at?
pointing at the Navy. Are you thinking about joining the Navy?
Oh no. This is my Miro page.
Oh,
It's labeled Navy from D&D. It was a Navy battle that I did one time.
I see. I just wanted to make sure.
And then we'll get to the other stuff, and then this is some little tidbits we'll end with today. But yeah, so anyway, we'll don't worry, we'll get to the Navy stuff. But so what we're gonna talk about today is I'll just start it with this quote from the book. When Johnny Boone violated his parole in the early summer of 1987 by leaving Kentucky, he set into motion a series of events that would define him and his associates as the largest homegrown marijuana syndicate in American history. The band of large-scale pot cultivators headquartered in a 3-county Catholic enclave in central Kentucky would be tagged by federal agents in the media with the name the Cornbread Mafia. Now, what is the Cornbread Mafia? Well, from documents obtained by the Freedom of Information Act, requests note that, unlike any other illegal drug operation of its size, the syndicate included no foreign nationals, and that all the participants were American, and they're also from one state, and from a 3-county area, and the vast majority of them from one county alone. And this county was Marion County. Now, how did we get here? I know you're wondering that. I know you guys are thinking right now. You're like, how did Marion County become, this harbor for marijuana? Well, it all started in the 19th century, where they became a bit of a battleground as the I guess the capital of their county, Lebanon, was fought in the Civil War, going raided by the Confederates, held barely by the Union, and then by 1919, when the distilleries in Marion County were in full swing, Prohibition hit, and many of them were put out to work, and I believe a lot, hundreds of them actually left the town. If I'm correct on that, maybe let me check right here. Yeah. And so the Great Depression hit Marion County even before the rest of the. Yeah, come on, Cobb, come on.
I'm trying to hold in my cough.
But the Great Depression, hit the county about 10 years before the rest of the country, and they were truly unemployed. And with the county's entire industrial base criminalized, this new law left hundreds of Marion County Catholics that were producers and distilleries out of work, and a lot of them actually, chose to go underground to become bootleggers, and they justified this through the act of, man's law is not God's law, and they believed that what they were doing was just and that they had a right to consume this alcohol. And so, really, what started to happen is that because of this poverty-stricken county that needed to feed their families, they turned to bootlegging because of what they had been doing before, which had been extremely profitable, which now was illegal. And they thought it was wrong, so they started believing that, hey, maybe man's law isn't correct. Maybe it's not the best thing in the world. So a lot of these people started a code of silence of sorts, and when the law came through, they would always shut their mouths. They wouldn't say anything. And even when people would have gunfights in the town square, or I'll tell you later, at one point when someone threw dynamite in one of the bars, the cops never were involved. No one ever said anything. They just went on their way and dealt with things themselves. So it really, it grew generations and generations after the bootlegging eras, how these people became so in-depth, so okay with breaking the law, and they weren't even fazed by it at a point. It seemed to grow in the culture. And I found this fascinating, just a little side bit. By the time one of the people that we'll talk about later, Jimmy Bickett, graduated high school in 1971, enough boys from Marion County, including Bobby Joe Shoemaker, had returned from Vietnam as men who brought news that in the big cities, people paid a fortune for weed. So apparently weed was massive in Vietnam, and the soldiers smoked all the time. They found it over there, and then people would bring it back. People would it was already becoming known the world around, but it was fascinating to hear these stories from some of the people in this book about just how the Vietnam War influenced marijuana transportation connections. People stayed in Southeast Asia and grew drugs for the rest of their lives as expats. It was fascinating looking up some of that shit. I don't know. That's
I got a story from a dude who actually served in Nam who was telling me about when he was only 18, 19, and he was Nam, and he was like,
yeah.
The reason weed was brought up was that he was like, you guys want to hear a funny story? We were trimming a tree in his front yard. He was like, yesterday there was these two teenagers on this side trail that nobody knows about except the people who live in this fucking cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And he was like, I went outside. He was like, it's COVID season, I'm fucking bored. He's like, I just said hello to be friendly.
Yeah.
And they started to be so tweaked that they jumped into the pond, swam across, ran away, and they're literally swam through the car and then ran away. And there was and then I walked closer to where they were standing. He was like, I literally saw the blunt. He was like, I smelled it, and he was like, I wouldn't have done anything. He was like, I was literally in Nam, 18, 19. He's like, my whole unit smoked pounds of it. He's like, pounds. He was like, to the point where, God, this is so weird. He was like, there was this bar, and it was like, this bar was for pretty ladies, but these ladies weren't ladies, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, oh my God. But he was like, the weed was so good, you couldn't even tell. And he's like, but I heard it's because of the stories. I was like, oh my God. And he was like, "You guys did a great like that's literally how he finished trimming the tree." And he was like, "You guys did a great job. See you guys later." I was like, "Dude, this guy's so fried." I couldn't imagine being a nom.
Imagine being high in the jungle.
Yeah, right, dude.
Then seeing the eyes of animals that you've never seen before. You're like,
Or
"Holy
people
fuck."
trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
High in the jungle.
Yeah, that sounds,
One wrong step. You're in that trap.
Snakes,
Yeah.
spiders, traps.
yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. If you're like anxious when you smoke, that just
Oh my God.
make it like, way worse.
So bad.
Dude, that was that would I don't know. I feel like maybe it's you just have to fucking be relaxed, you know? Like could you really take it though? Like 100% of the time just full sober, just always anxious on edge. I don't know. I'd have to smoke to be fucking relaxed if anything.
That is a good point.
I'd be drinking all the time.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, booze.
Fair enough.
Do you know what's really popular there in Nam? Combat sport, like combat wrestling, and taekwondo and shit. All the best UFC fighters
Wait,
from
what
one,
is combat wrestling?
like wrestling, like standard wrestling,
Yeah.
submission wrestling, where instead of pins, you can only make the other person tap. There's like different variations of pretty much wrestling with its own rules,
Sure.
and then like UFC trainers literally go to a small village in like Nam, where it's just they have this own technique of punching and fucking weaving, kicking people's ass. But the rule is, if to go there, you always got to be drunk.
Wow.
It's fucking amazing. So they just train drunk all day, and they drink the like jungles like juice, like the natural alcohol that comes from like a specific plant
Yeah.
that grows in the jungles. So it's very high concentration of alcohol, and they're just fucking drinking that for breakfast, rehydration, lunch, dinner, and then just blacking out and waking up to do it again the next day.
So they basically just get like wasted and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. And like, the
Like,
biggest
high
component
proof
is like
alcohol.
kicking the shin.
Oh my God.
So like
no,
everyone's
dude.
shin is just like stone. So like you can hear when they hit each other. It's just like rocks hitting each other, like boulders crashing.
Oh. Dude.
One guy kicked another guy's leg so hard that he just broke it in half in UFC because he was from the village. So like, everyone's like, it's the
serious?
shins. Yeah, he kicked someone in the ring, like in a UFC pay-per-view, and when he
Yeah.
hit the guy's shin, it just broke in half,
Snapped.
snapped.
Oh.
And it was like some dude from like Kentucky, like on the rise, but he faced someone from like an international land. Got his ass handed. Built different.
Oh. That's
Built
fucked, dude.
different, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go up against that nightmare, man.
UFC fighters crazy.
Okay. Well, let me pull it back around here.
I get one of those.
I do actually have. It was a bit fascinating when I read the book. A little bit more of a side tangent. Before the Iranian Revolution in the 1970s,
Oh yeah.
apparently there were pockets of hippies in Iran, just because it was a Western-friendly country at the time. Like women used to go to college there in the 1960s. They wore. If you look up 1960s here, look, let me show you.
Oh, it's so cool.
Like Western clothing.
1960s.
Yeah, it's so weird. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this is the classic photo. Look at that. That's literally Iran in the 1960s. Like, they look like Americans.
Wow.
They're, like, super westernized.
Literally 60 years ago.
I
And
like
then
that
they're-
style.
Their fucking Shah was overthrown. I think Khomeini
Yeah, that's a
was their leader.
That's a schmood.
But yeah. So there used to be pockets.
Can you show a picture of like guys in it? I want to see like the fashion for men.
I think they're on the left, right?
Yeah.
Is that guys in the left? Oh shit.
Oh no, I don't know if that's all women.
Oh, right there. Right there we go. Right there.
Yeah.
The guy fucking in his jeans. This guy fucking knows.
Yeah, I love this guy.
This
dude.
guy.
Yeah,
This
that
guy could be Joe. Joe had glasses.
His massive sunglasses.
That hair
dude.
and beard combo. Are you serious? Look at
Yeah.
that. That's what I'm trying to go for.
You're getting there.
I'm kidding.
You got it.
Thank you for the support, man.
So, I know it's kind of like off topic from this, but
Oh yeah, sure.
Myanmar right?
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pronouncing it right. Damn, is anyone gonna do anything about that?
No.
Just
No,
lost.
no. Yeah, Myanmar. I don't know if
Yeah,
Myanmar is the
Myanmar.
right way. I say, however,
What is this?
it's a country in Southeast Asia. It's, I believe, on the opposite side of where Vietnam is, on the other side of the like little peninsula thing they live on. And originally there were questions of a genocide happening by the army
Oh God.
by doing, I think it was against the ethnic Rohingya group, and this was way back freshman sophomore year when these original claims came out. And then this year when they had elections and Carrie Lam, no, not Carrie Lam, that's the leader of Hong Kong. I can't remember her name.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The previously elected leader in like 30 years since they had elections. In 2016 they had their first one. She got elected, and then she got elected again, but the army claimed it was a fraudulent election.
And just overthrew
Overthrew
her.
her, yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, like she had like over, I think like 80% support or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
it
it
was
was a crazy
some
amount.
insanely high number. And yeah, they kind of just overthrew everything, and now they're just like no longer democratic. Which kind of blows. Yeah, and they're like cutting off just like internet,
Oh my God.
and they're like just committing a fuck ton of crimes, and like people are like, whoa, like come on, like do something about
Yeah,
this. But,
yeah.
like, all like leaders of different nations are kind of just like, we condemn it, but like no one's actually doing anything. They're just like,
Because no one cares.
it's not cool. It's like, damn, like come on,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
like that sucks. That's terrible.
Yeah, you know.
Wasn't there like a country where the military overtook the government recently?
Yeah. What is it?
And it's like it's like a North Korea allies last before, like it was like on the news. It's like it's gonna be bad for everybody. I'm like, I just don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, the military. This is still going on in this world. That's insane. Especially when I watched
Yeah,
that
of
Vice
course,
video
dude.
where it was like Libya. Was it Libya? I can't remember, but like
Well, Libya is just a fucking nightmare, dude.
yeah, where there was like a child soldier who just killed somebody, and then like they were burning him alive, and he was like, "Eat the meat, eat the meat," and he just
Oh, that was
grabbed someone
Liberia.
Oh my.
and just on video just took a bite. He took a bite out of it. I was like, "Oh God,
We're so sheltered.
Wait.
oh God."
We're so damn sheltered.
Yeah, dude, no,
What the
for
hell?
sure. Well, I mean,
That's Africa. That's literally just in like, oh
It's
God.
many people's realities.
dude, that's just human. That's just human right there. I mean, how? Fucking Christ. I don't even know how you rationalize just eating a human. In my
I
head,
do.
I'm like,
I have
I'm
one
like,
way.
no way. How would you? I know, dude.
The
Like,
the Argentinian rugby team that like their plane crashed in the mountains, like the Alps or something,
Oh yeah.
and there was like some survivors. It was only like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of dead bodies, and they're like, we can make fire. We're like, we need calories. We ate all the pretzels.
Yeah.
They
Peanuts
did
ran
it.
out.
Peanuts we got 2 peanuts left.
That's acceptable. Yeah. If it's that or just starve and die. I mean, like,
Because what? They had someone go out, which that's fucking betting a lot. They had someone go out. It's like, all right, we'll eat the humans.
We'll give you the rest of the peanuts. But you gotta run like hella fast on this mountain.
In the middle of nowhere. The
Whatever
nearest
you
town
do.
has no Wi-Fi.
Whatever you do, don't look behind you. Oh my
in
God.
our rugby team too, they probably eat so much.
Oh, I know. That's the
They
worst
eat
part.
Fat meals. It's probably like, ugh.
An entire leg
Yeah,
for
right.
one person. It's like this will
We're
do
out
me
of bodies
today.
within a week. They don't know how to ration. They just know how to fucking splurge.
Yeah, it's like when they get picked up by the med, they're like, we gotta do them one at a time. They're fat as fuck down there.
Just one guy arguing. I say we start with the fat ones first and towards skinny.
Right afterwards, though, like imagine they like go to the families, right,
Oh
of
my
the
God.
rugby team players that didn't make it. They're like, sorry, they didn't make it. We ate them. They're like, what?
Yeah,
Oh my
There's
god.
like constant news coverage with like looking for them.
I
They
couldn't look
find
them in the
some
eye.
of them and they're like, where are the others? And
In
it's
our
like,
tummy.
You weren't there, you wouldn't understand.
The pretzels were getting stale.
Oh my god.
Your son was the tastiest teammate that I've ever eaten.
Your
You
thumb,
should be honored.
your son had some mean thighs.
Yeah, you think they ever just joke about that? Like when some of them
No.
are alone in a room, they're just like, dude, you ever think about how that thigh was actually pretty tasty?
I
I was just imagining the fuck part where just one of the guys is like, dude, no meat compares to it. Like,
No, I don't think I'd ever see any of them again.
I'd
be
leave,
like,
never talk to
guys,
him, just fucking change names.
well, I didn't survive, but every time I look at you, like that's what I'll think. So I'm just gonna fuck off.
I'm vegetarian after that.
Oh, easily.
Because they were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I'm not eating
Imagine going
two
out to
sauce.
imagine going out to dinner with like those people afterwards. You guys go to like any restaurant that serves meat. And you'll
Yeah.
just be like,
Nothing compared to
And you're like, the food looks good, and like you see him just staring at your arm, and you're just like, oh.
you look better.
Oh god,
That's terrible.
God.
that is disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty raw.
You know, there was a doctor in like England, 1800s maybe? No, earlier. It has to be way earlier. But he was he ate humans so that he could describe what the taste was. And it was like he described it as the closest tasting meat would be veal.
Veal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Baby lamb, right?
no, that veal's baby cows. I thought it was pig.
The
I thought we
pigs
were, like,
supposedly are, what tastes the most similar to
I thought it
humans.
was veal.
Because, like, we share all the same organs with pigs, pretty much. That's why you can get replacements. So it's like, yeah.
I don't know.
Similar
He
taste.
does.
That's what I
Oh my
heard. I don't know if
God.
that's accurate.
It might be cow, but I think it's pig.
Obviously, I'm not a rugby
It's like a
player,
heart
but
valve.
Yeah.
That's insane. Dude, I cannot believe that existed.
Yeah, man. Well, different times. Truly. I'm just like, I'm astounded that there's just, because when I was reading this book, it talks a lot about like some of their international connections as well. And like there's expats all over the world, kind of like Slob's uncle. They're like in these fucking like second world, third world countries. And they just fucking, it's not that they do illegal things, but they kind of enjoy the wilder side, you know? Like how he got fucking mugged. He probably loves that, honestly, fighting them off.
Just to show off the strength he has. The one in Cuba.
Oh,
Not
that
Cuba.
No,
guy.
Colombia.
Oh, yeah. No, he goes out. He's like a veteran from the Marine Corps, and he like goes out to bars in Colombia looking for a fight. Like he goes there with that mentality.
Mike Ashton did back in
And
the
he
day.
always talks, like you said, he always talks about how like they love,
It's
like
upstairs,
people there
you wanna grab it?
will like
Oh,
target
shit, yeah.
tourists to mug,
I do.
Yeah.
and how bad of an idea that is, especially because this guy's like massive,
I've seen photos.
and
He
like
looks thick.
and then on the back of his bald head, there's a tattoo that's it used to be "fuck Islam." But now it's this huge bald eagle that covers the entirety from the back of his neck to the back of his head. It's massive.
Nice.
Like that would, I don't know. That would be telling enough for me to be like, not worth mugging.
Yeah, stay away.
Yeah. Also with those New Balances, I don't know if he's worth it. The risk would not be worth it.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's
Fine.
it's people like that, fried people, and like apparently this fucking Kentucky group had farms going in Belize as well, and they would fly it in from Central America to fucking Florida and then drive it up. I don't know, just reading about that, reading how like international this was, it was fucking wild. But we'll get back to it here. I'll fucking kind of pull us back on track. We'll get to the Minnesota bus, you know, that math right there. But I kind of want to introduce a few
Stop
people
burping.
here. But so we talked about Bobby Shoemaker. He's over here. He's one of these guys, one of the Vietnam veterans.
Grab her.
Oh yeah, get the cats, wrangle them. Oh god.
You
And
made all of this?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
You just make this stuff for D&D.
Mr. X. Ooh.
And so, guess what? We'll talk about it a little bit, but back in the well, actually, I'll talk about it now. Back in the late 1930s, we used to get all of our hemp because it was illegal in the United States. We criminalized it in the late 1930s. We grew it all in the Philippines, but when Japan captured that, we legalized it for some farmers in the Midwest to grow it. And one of those states was Kentucky, and one of those counties in Kentucky was Marion County. So by the 1970s, when everyone found out weed was profitable, a lot of them had it just growing wild in their backyards already. So to them, on top of them already thinking, oh, man's law isn't the same as God's law, and these guys being very, Catholic, God's law first. And then now this plant that has just been growing wild in the back of their yard is now being criminalized, and now is like all of a sudden also at the same time expensive. And you can sell it to people and make tons of fucking money. Way more money than you can at farming at the time. Because family farming was actually deteriorating. In the 1980s, the family farm was crumbling. It was the whole notion. You couldn't sustainably live off a farm anymore. Just realistically, paying taxes, and then also all these cash crops.
80s?
Yeah, in the 1980s. Cash crops,
Makes sense,
like
yeah.
tobacco use was down. And think about it, international trade. Globalism was really taking over in the agriculture products. So imagine countries all over the world, cheap labor, cheaper products, cheaper,
Better land.
no health care, no this, no 401k, no farmhands, whatever. So by 1985, unemployment rate in Marion County was 18%. So like this whole time, even after the Great Depression, even when everything else was booming, the entire time Marion County after World War II was still struggling, even in the 1980s when, Reaganomics was taking over. And, this all goes back to this fucking prohibition law. People acted like prohibition created a better world where, like, oh, now people weren't drinking. Look, at the time there's this guy named Dr. Thornton who looked at records. He's like, look, in the second half of the year when prohibition happened, we only had this many arrests. It's 40% less, and it's like all arrests of drunken people. Like, makes sense. They're just getting drunk at home instead of at the bars in the town. But, what this fucking law actually forced people to do is it forced people that were working in distilleries, getting wages, to now go underground and fucking make it at their home. And they had to evade state and federal agents by doing, this for their families that they had done legally and peacefully. It was the same with this wild weed. Now, as it had been for long before, just wild weed in their backyards that some people smoked. Now it was something criminalized. Now they were fucking getting toasted for it, dude. And I don't know. There's, oh man, I wish I had it here. Yeah. Because the government, they only wanted the hemp seeds when they grew the hemp. Everyone just kept the weed and they just burn it in their yard.
Hell yeah.
And no, I'm not kidding. There's a fucking, it's like one boy, Al Brady, helped his family thresh its hemp seeds, and while walking home one day, he told his friend that he felt dizzy. I think being on top of that separator all day made me drunk, which is essentially when he's taking out the seeds and they're burning it all below him. So the smoke's going up all around him.
Oh.
And even though CBD has really low THC ratings, well, not CBD, hemp has really low THC ratings. It's still, imagine all this smoke and massive amounts of brush.
Okay.
Yeah. So, these weed, hemp, this was just regular shit for these people growing up. And now I want to get into the main guy we're going to talk about, Johnny Boone. Now, Johnny Boone, even at 15-year-old, he won the state 4-H championship in sheep breeding. And then, just 2 years later, when he was 17, he won the national, he won the state championship for tobacco cultivation as well. And so, this guy right away, even when he was young, he was looking good. He could grow a nice field of tobacco. And he got into weed early when he heard it could make some actual money. And Johnny Boone, he learned all of his. We'll get back to this man because I do have some ideas about him. But there's a Mr. X, a Mixter X, who was never caught, never apprehended from the Cornbread. I mean, the Cornbread 70, the people who make up the Cornbread Mafia. But Mr. X taught everything to Johnny about the genetics of the plant. He got him new seeds from all over the world, and he constantly told him new information. Oh, this will work with this will work that. And he was bringing him all these things. And supposedly, he knew people really well originally from Northern California's Humboldt County and beyond. And just keep that in the back of your head. Mr. X, never caught. You know, he's kind of his purveyor. He also only gave seeds to Jimmy Bickett, so he's very selective with his group of the people in Marion County. And you know, I just want to take a little tangent when you think about Mr. X and what he has to do with all this. But let me tell you another trick. All agronomists can tell you this, Johnny Boone said later. Plants climatize, so what works tremendously well here in Kentucky might not work in Alaska. So not only do you need a seed for latitude, just keep listening, but also for where you're going to grow. This blew my mind. The land-raised breeds, let's say high in the Himalayas. If you went over there and got 1,000 of them seeds and stuck them in the heel of your boot and come back and plant them in the elevation lower, they probably wouldn't do as well here as they might have if you took them to a place like they live at, like the Rocky Mountain lowlands. So he's saying elevation matters, the latitude on the actual map, and not the longitude, but the latitude itself matters. And this was blowing my mind, thinking about how planting could be that specific and how that, like, just if you keep it to the same latitude. Give me a second, I'm smoking weed. But yeah, it's the, oh god, cat hair. It's the fact that...
You ever seen a man regret something?
That was
Please read this.
disgusting. Not saying it rough, but I hate fucking hair in my mouth.
Yeah. Makes sense, dude.
I always think
Take a
there's
walk.
dandruff and it's like
Oh my god, shut.
I know it's
But yeah,
I've
so
been like that.
these landrace breeds, they're supposedly best for Kentucky because of the latitude, which I found fascinating. And also, just to end off this little tangent, there's a guy named Steve Lowry who was the first photographer for Marion County. He was like the photojournalist that went to all the busts for the police. And he would later... No. Lowry was happy to play to what he perceived to be the policeman's ego. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. The police even played to Lowry's lens and choreographed shots of helicopters landing in the cornfield. So they do like these massive like oversweeps for him to get pictures. And, you know, Lowry was happy to play to what perceived to be the policeman's ego. Because when they weren't looking, Lowry was loading up his camera bag with buds that no one would ever miss. So these busts were so big, like ton, 50, 60, 70, 80, sometimes 1,000 even plants of marijuana, that he could just take some of the buds. So everyone in the whole county was just taking marijuana when they could get the chance. The policemen themselves were a little bit corrupt. I won't go into it really too much, but this man right here, Charles Stills, supposedly, as some call him, the godfather of the fucking whole operation, who was the mayor of Lebanon, the county seat of Marion County. The policeman shot him dead one night, and they said they found him with a weapon, even though he was known by the locals never to hold a weapon. He thought it was unseemly. He was like, I don't like guns, they cause trouble. And so he had an operation. His brother Paul Stiles had an independent coroner examine his body, and they found extra wounds just missing, just like slugs in his body that the police hadn't pulled out. And I just thought that was interesting. I was like, they may have killed him. That's possible. The police may have just gunned this guy down because they didn't like him, because he was he was Lebanese, but it was also because he was like, he kind of controlled this racket of stealing General Electric supplies from the nearby plant.
Yeah, fuck the guy. Fuck the man, dude.
No, it's hilarious. There's so much to go into this fucking county. There's so much stuff, but it really is like just a crime county. Like they fucking, They got fucked over by prohibition. They've never believed in man's laws since. I mean, I don't know about now, but you know that's how it was back then.
Sounds like a good. It sounds like a good setting for like another Red Dead game.
Maybe so, modern day one. But by the early 1980s, cocaine had taken over as a big. Since a lot of them were now rich from the marijuana industry after 10 years of growing weed and escaping the law and being able to get out. Because sentences, even in the early 70s and late 70s, were light. You usually got like a year in prison. There weren't any mandatory minimums back then. This wasn't the 80s. But cocaine came around in the 1980s. It actually got pretty dangerous in the area, and there seemed to be a split between two groups. One that would, do cocaine and get a little bit wild, and then one group that was more business focused, and they'd do the international side. And that Johnny Boone was the more international side, and then the old J.C. Abel, Bobby Shoemaker. We won't get into Garland Russell or Mies Williamson. I'm done now. This fucking cat every time. But those are some of the more wild guys in the fucking operation.
Isn't this my TV? Don't break my fucking TV, cat. I'll pee on you. Has she scratched this TV?
I don't think they can.
But
Jiggle the mouse.
Yeah, move it to the left.
Please jiggle the mouse.
oh yeah.
Swatch, look! God damn it. No, stop doing shit. Let her see herself. Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. You dumb cat.
Dude, she big.
Dude, yeah, look at that hind.
You see her backside?
It is pretty
If
good.
that was a turkey served to me for Thanksgiving, I'd be like, oh, we're all eating good.
Yeah, right.
There's a certain point where it gets so much thicker.
Yeah, I know. It's right past the shoulders. It's like after the first couple. Like,
Dude, honestly,
ribs.
it's like lover, like cat, dude. Both Spiegels and her just have like a fucking big ass body, but when it comes to the neck and heads up, it's just like chubby. But the body is like thick. Damn.
Hell yeah.
Imagine she's looking at the mouse on the screen and we just turn on the cat with hands.
Oh my god. The video's terrible.
Maybe later, dude. Maybe.
I become numb to that video because of you.
I think we showed like that video to like at least 20 people
Yeah, I know.
over the course of like 6 months. Like people would come over for like other reasons to our apartment, and we'd be like, hey, like you're here, you might as well watch this like strange video that someone found.
Yeah, the error that we made though is that we didn't always show it to people when they were high. Sometimes they'd be sober and they would just be like, what?
Yeah, we got too excited. We didn't draw the line
I know.
between like good people to watch, people to show it to, and bad because of
Damn, you guys are fucking distracted.
Oh, I know what's going
You
on.
love that
So.
cat, dude.
Let me hear what's going on.
No, dude, it's fine. I understand, bro. The cat's.
I was
cat's pretty
fine.
tempting.
I was fine until the whole mouse thing happened.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah,
this,
that really threw me off too.
this cat loves watching that mouse. But I will get back into it. Watch her be a fucking dumbass. But do you guys remember in the 1980s, this guy named Oliver North came forward?
Oh, lean north.
Yeah, and talked about the Nicaragua scandal.
Yeah, he took the blame.
He-
The guy.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't talk. Yeah, he took the blame. My bad. But that scandal that happened with the fucking cocaine, and the Contras, and everything. While this was happening, Boone was he actually, what he said on it was fucking fascinating. I know the cat's a little distracting, but bear with me. He said the drug war, when he heard about this, he said the drug war wasn't about controlling drugs. It was about suppressing competition. And I thought that was fucking amazing. Because they were literally selling the cocaine on the streets so they could get guns and then sell them to the Contras at the same time saying that cocaine was illegal. And I'm like, holy shit, like, That's a great way to put the drug war into perspective I've never even thought about before. The government's just trying to fucking stifle competition in drug trade.
Yeah, and then it just ended up blowing up in their faces spectacularly.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty fried. And pretty much the Cornbread Mafia, a few years later, I'll give you guys the lowdown right here. They all get individually busted. Johnny Boone in 1987 and Jimmy Bickett and the other Vietnam veterans, J.C. Abel and Bobby Shoemaker in 1989. And, you know, keep those dates in mind, but I'll give you... They did multiple states, but I'll give you the little... When Johnny Boone got busted, it was in his Minnesota complex. And, you know, weight of one dump truck load was 1 ton. When they're...
Weed?
Yeah, when they were confiscating this one field in Minnesota... It took 62 trips, and then they left half the field because it took 62 trips, and that was the whole day. And they're like, well, we don't want to do this tomorrow. We don't want to pay for a dump truck again. And so that was, I believe, 124 tons of marijuana just in that field alone. And then with his operation, he had fields in I know he had the field in Minnesota. He had one in Kansas, one in Missouri, one in Illinois, and originally they had multiple fields in Kentucky. So this was the biggest domestic, like the largest domestic marijuana cultivation operation in American history. All these guys from 3 counties in the United States. And yeah, they went to jail for a few years. Some of them actually got pardoned by Barack Obama because he did a bunch of those drug charges, if you remember, where he pardoned a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And anyway, let's pull it back now. You're like, well, Joe, who's Mr. X? That's what I was wondering too. That's what I was kind of curious about as well.
It's Obama.
And I originally, yes, you're on the right track.
I knew it.
But let me pull you back to a nice little restaurant that I think we've all been to once or twice. We'll take a nice little jaunt back to 1969, when the first Long John Silver's restaurant ever opened up in Lexington, Kentucky.
World changed forever.
Yeah, okay, this is their actual site too. It's fucking fried. I thought that was amazing. World changed forever. And then from 1970 to 1979, in 10 years, Long John Silver's grew to a fleet of 1,000+ restaurants. Now that's pretty crazy. Have you guys ever been to Long John Silver's? Realistically, I mean, it is not 1970, so maybe the quality's changed.
Once. Literally once.
Yeah.
What did you get food poisoning?
Well, I don't know. I think
All the time.
I think the answer once kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. I've been there twice. I love it, but I fucking regret it like an hour later when I'm fucking shitting my brains out.
I've looked into them a lot. You know, I think it's like Company Man, that YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He's got a really good video on it.
I'll have to watch it then. Originally, I heard about this idea from the PKA podcast, which is like the old FPS Russia guy, and then a few of his friends. And they talked about this. It's only a 6-minute clip, but I dove really head into like the Cornbread Mafia and stuff. I kind of want to give you guys that angle. And then I'm sure you know a little bit of this, but Long John Silver's, really grew in the 70s. And they by the 1980s, they were a rough brain. And then you see it just jumps to 2019. They haven't done anything since 1980. Well, what happened? What happened in the 1980s? Well, minimum mandatory laws were in place by the Reagan administration that put a lot of marijuana cultivators in jail for 20, 10, 15, 5, usually 5, 10, 15 years. And what that did was, it damaged Long John Silver's, not because their customer base was imprisoned, it was because the Cornbread Mafia was money laundering through Long John Silver's.
What?
This started, the first one ever, in Lexington, Kentucky, the first Long John Silver's. About an hour and a half, I'm imagining the 1980s, about an hour and a half with their cars, to the Marion County seat, Lebanon. Now, it's possible that this restaurant didn't go so well. Now, Joe, you're like, no, I'm sure it went well. I'm sure it was a good restaurant. Yeah, maybe so. Let's look at the history. Ignore, this is the original guy who had these few restaurants. But Jericho was taken public. I can't find the information on their fucking revenue streams. But Long John Silver expanded to more than 200 units in 2 years. The first one. That's pretty impressive. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
In 1989, now let's remember, Johnny Boone in 1987 was imprisoned. One of the largest marijuana cultivators in Marion County. 2 years later, the other two largest, one of the only other guys who had contact with Mr. X, were both arrested in 1989. The year Long John Silver's was led to a buyout by a private company. And they had some issues, so they had to sell their... In 1990, just a year later, they already had issues operating. Already had issues a year later. Expanded in 10 years, 1,000 restaurants by 1980. 1 year after... 2 years, 3 years after this fucking... After the heads of this fucking so-and-so Cornbread Mafia were put away, Long John Silver's was struggling in their new privately owned company. And by 1998, not even 10 years after they have been their own company, they filed for bankruptcy. They could no longer sustain themselves, even though for the last 20 years, the magic sauce of their fucking Filet-O-Fish got them through the troubles of the fucking revenue stream. But yeah, they got bought out by A&W, then A&W got bought out by Yum's Food. So yeah, Long John Silver's is fucking fake. It started as a money laundering operation, and then some international brand was stupid enough to actually think Americans go there and buy it.
Jeez.
So it's fake. That like the Cornbread Mafia. That's the whole thing.
I have one counter argument with this theory.
Look at this guy. This is the guy who started. This is the guy.
You ever had those hush puppies?
They're good. Yeah.
Okay,
I
is
agree.
this why the employees are always high though?
Well, that's just
It
fast
might
food.
be.
That's just fast food in general.
Yeah. That's...
You ever been to White Castle?
No.
No, he doesn't smoke. He doesn't know what happened. The burgers there are too thin.
Dude, White Castle makes sense.
I was.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to talk to this
Fat
James
White
A.
Castle?
Patterson.
When?
I know what he's up to.
He doesn't have his email or phone on there.
Yeah, I'll meet him. I'll talk to
I
him.
looked up for his Facebook. He doesn't have one.
What? At the University of Louisville?
Shit.
That's a
Yeah,
2 hour
Amherst
drive.
Board of
If I do it
Advisors.
fast enough.
But yeah, this is the guy. This is their front man. But yeah, that's the whole.
You guys
That's
trying
the
to kick this
Cornbread
guy's ass?
Mafia.
Dude,
You guys trying to kick this
bad
guy's ass?
dope.
That guy is sketchy.
No, this guy didn't. This is the fucking guy who was the Long John Silver's founder, one of the co-founders, and he was their first CEO for a long time. And then he took his buyout when they went private in the 1989 deal.
So wait, this guy,
This is the guy who I suspect laundered the money for them.
he's a university teacher now?
No, he's just on the board of advisors at this university.
Wow.
Let's go question him.
Well, dude, he doesn't have his email or phone up there. I looked up for his Facebook. I couldn't find one. I looked up James A. Patterson. As you can imagine, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, this guy's pretty old. But no, it even says in his bio he's the co-founder. So I know this is the most up-to-date thing I've seen of him. So
This
it's
is insane.
it's possible that we could find him, but I'm dead serious. I think this guy actually fucking laundered the money for them. Because just, I can't find any of the, like, you know, quarterly or yearly
Like
revenues.
financial statements?
Yeah, because it's been private, and now it's been under the brand of Yums and A&W before that. So it never had its own sheet, you know, it was just part of their fucking...
Yums owns Long John Silver's.
Not the one we know here.
Okay.
Not this,
Not
the
frozen-
sushi
not
place.
The Froyo place.
No, Yums is like an
It's like a
international
larger
brand.
thing.
I see.
But, Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Well, you
Small-minded
could be like,
county.
give me 2 tons of
You don't know
marijuana
about
right
the
now, or I'm
international
exposing you,
guild,
Mr. X.
creator of
I don't
Aren't
think
you
he's
gonna be
Mr.
drunk
X.
in like 3 hours?
I
I am way
No,
beyond
no,
drunk
no.
already.
Wait, who would he be then?
Joe, can I get that poncho?
Oh, I just think he laundered a bunch of money. Unless I get his California connection. We need to find someone who connects these guys to California. Because that's the big thing that really gave it away. Yeah, you want the poncho? But yeah, I think that's what really gives it away is like
This
Where's
is
this guy
so interesting.
in Humboldt County. But yeah, dude, I'll do some follow-ups. If you have any questions, you can text me and I can look into it. Because I
We
plan
gotta go to Louisville.
keep on looking.
We gotta go to Louisville.
Well, we gotta find this guy.
Yeah, we'll go
You're
to every
right,
fucking
but,
building. You
Well,
got
if he's
classic-
on the admissions council or board of advisors, just be like, hey, thinking of
It's
getting
like
my
we have a right, we'll be
MBA through the College of Business at the University of Louisville.
Can you teach me how to money launder?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well,
No, he
That's-
definitely did it. We gotta kick his ass.
And he's like, you don't make the SAT requirements. And you're like, oh.
No, you didn't score high enough on your GMAT.
Let's kick his ass.
That picture looks like it's old too. This is like some recent website with all private and like all his information made private, and this picture looks like it's from like '98.
well, University of Louisville. James A. Patterson, faculty. It says back to faculty staff.
Speaking
What
of-
if this is not
what-
the same guy? We're just like,
He looks like he
No,
could
no.
be a Batman villain.
wait, go up.
Look, I told you. It says began as as a franchise of Jerry restaurants. 10 years later, he co-founded Long John Silver's.
Oh, okay, so this is in.
Yeah.
Go up, but I want to see his face one more time.
Doesn't he?
Doesn't he look like what?
Like a Batman villain.
He kind of does.
He
yeah.
could be like a potential like Joker type. Maybe like a
no.
Two-Face.
No, Two-Face.
Dude,
No,
yeah,
this
he
guy-
could
this guy
work
looks-
as Two-Face.
This guy looks like more like a Jim Gordon than anything else. Looks one of them normies.
No, he could. He
I don't
could
trust
be the
like that.
Riddler. He could be the Riddler. That's just me.
Possible.
How do you make a shitty business profitable? Batman. You launder weed money.
Oh my god. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the little cornbread adventure. You know,
That was amazing.
I hope you go to a Long John Silver's and enjoy them while they last, because they certainly aren't going to be stable in this economy.
We
We
gotta
need
get
more
more
Orange
hush
you.
puppies.
Maybe Wisconsin will still have them. It turns out this guy went on to
Damn,
fucking
right.
invent rallies. If you guys remember having that one time with the fries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, huh, interesting. I wonder if there's something shady behind that. So I threw
Damn.
that in a footnote. I might look into that in the future, but I'll let you guys know. If just most fast food is just unprofitable, but they like launder drugs, so it works.
Ron
Like,
to
bitch,
James
you
A.
move.
Patterson.
But yeah, anyway, that's that. I'll end on a little interesting note though. I was reading up on this fucking. Well, I was listening to a Dan Carlin podcast, and then that got me onto a little essay here. And so, oh god,
That's Matt's favorite.
yeah, it's a good podcast. And
Oh,
I'm just gonna quote this. According to the geographer Strabo, the seat of the oracle is a cavern hollowed down in the depths, from which arises a vapor gas. They call it pneuma. I can't say that correctly, but like a vapor gas that inspires a divine state of possession. So this oracle of Delphi, one of the highest like reigning authorities of religion, like highest reigning religious authorities in the land. Supposedly she sat on a like stone chair above this hole in the ground in this mountain, and it was a crack essentially of where all these vapors came up, and she got stoned, and she'd have these sights and these visions. This is I mean, in my opinion, that I just find that as like the fucking most hilarious thing, that old like literally religious ancient leaders were most likely getting stoned to see their visions, and they just didn't even realize it.
that was in our high school Greek mythology book. Did you take that class?
Myths
Maybe.
and legends.
Yeah.
I took it with germs.
Whatever. Same.
The creative writing, like a fucking.
They didn't really mention the like high part, I don't think, but yeah, they mentioned that.
Well, you got the sites. I wish I could
Only
find.
because the bed's made.
I assume no vapor anymore.
Also, you're more dangerous. for
No,
sitting
they
on
have
that
been
chair.
able to find the actual
Can't choose
location.
whatever.
Or they have some ideas on where the actual
Make sure
location
that
was,
pillow
where the vapors
is
came
from
out.
birth support.
Since they're able to do like geologic studies now, essentially, you know, where they can actually penetrate the ground.
Hey, you can't say penetrate. It's illegal.
Well, sadly, I was gonna fucking. There's this. Apparently, the fucking. It's really fried. Apparently, the crack was found by some guy, some sheep herder. He's like, why are my sheep bleeding funny? Like, you know, bleeding, like making the sound like bleed, like, you know.
Like, meh.
Yeah. Apparently, they were bleeding funny, and he walked over to where they all congregated. And it was over the crack that later the Oracle of Delphi would get her divine like possessions from, as they called it. But this, it was supposedly the sheep herder, like, was like, what's this? And stuck his head in and got fucking absolutely annihilated. He saw the god, what was it? Oh god, I wish I could remember it. Aphrodite, I think it was. Aphrodite herself. No. Who's the guy who runs fast?
Apollo.
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah,
Apollo.
no, it was Apollo.
Hermes ran fast.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of Apollo, my bad.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking, not runs fast, I guess he just fucking was fast. But yeah, apparently he got a vision of Apollo. And, there you go, Oracle of Delphi and everything. And just, they've set up right there, dude. I just can't believe it. It's just like, I wonder if that's what happened with mushrooms. Like, literally, it was just ancient polytheism, just fucking based on just taking shrooms and being like, oh, the trees, they talk. I don't know, I've always thought about that, because, like, last time I took mushrooms, I'm like, dude, the soil is like 60-78% fungus. Like, is this why I can actually feel it and why I feel so more comfortable being on it right now is because I'm part of the fungus? Now, it's such a big thought, but, like, they say it reshapes your brain, so I'm like, damn, dude, while I'm under the influence, am I, like, taking the last few parts of this mushroom drug and, like, actually communing with my myconoid brothers? I'm like, probably not, but, whatever. You know, I can enjoy it and dig in the dirt and say that's what I'm doing at least.
Yeah. You dig in the dirt while you're tripping on acid.
Oh yeah, I definitely have. I mean, dude, you were there at the time when Al was just playing in the sand.
That's true.
I can't blame him. But yeah, well, I mean, we'll call it there, guys. I just wanted to fucking, again, thank you all for fucking coming. I really appreciate it. Seriously, taking, an hour or
It was a good
two.
time.
Yeah, I figured you guys would enjoy it, but, taking the time out. But yeah, seriously, I appreciate you fucking telling me it was a good time. I enjoyed myself as well.
Yeah, it's fun.
But we'll end it there. We'll call it a fucking day.
The weed thing is still crazy.
Yeah, right?